Have you ever revealed something to your family only to wish you hadn't moments later? It's that sinking feeling when you realize what you've said can't be unsaid. Whether it's an ambitious dream, a personal struggle, or even a harmless opinion, oversharing can sometimes lead to judgment, unnecessary worry, or even strained relationships. But let's be clear, this isn't about being secretive for the sake of it. It's about protecting your peace, nurturing your personal growth, and knowing when keeping certain things to yourself is the best choice for everyone involved. So let's dive into 5 things you should consider keeping a secret from your family. Before we begin, they say subscribing to this channel is like finding the fountain of youth. Don't believe me? There's only one way to find out. Subscribe now. Let's begin. Number 1. Your long-term goals. Dreams are fragile in their early stages. They're like seedlings, needing time and care to grow before they can withstand external forces. Sharing your long-term goals with family might seem natural. They're your biggest supporters, right? But sometimes, revealing those ambitions too soon can have unintended consequences that may derail your confidence. When you tell your family about a big dream, whether it's starting a business, pursuing a creative passion, or making a major life change, you're opening the door to their opinions. While these opinions might come from a place of love and concern, they can feel like doubts. That sounds risky. Are you sure that's the right path? What if it doesn't work out? These questions can linger in your mind long after the conversation ends. Even well-meaning family members can unintentionally impose their own fears or limitations onto your dreams. Perhaps they project their past failures onto your future or view your goals through the lens of their own insecurities. When you're just beginning to build momentum, this kind of skepticism can chip away at your resolve. You might find yourself second-guessing your choices, hesitating when you should be moving forward. Moreover, sharing your goals prematurely can sometimes create expectations that add pressure. Suddenly, it's not just about achieving your dream. It's about proving to others that you can do it. If things don't go according to plan, you might feel the weight of their judgment, real or imagined, on top of your own disappointment. Keeping your goals private doesn't mean shutting your family out. It means giving yourself the space to dream without interference. When your vision is in its infancy, it's often best to nurture it quietly, allowing it to grow strong before sharing it with the world. Once you've made tangible progress, you'll have the confidence and evidence to back your decisions, making external opinions less impactful. Take the example of someone wanting to leave a stable career to start their own business. Sharing this idea too soon might result in a chorus of concerns about financial stability or the difficulty of entrepreneurship. While these points may be valid, they don't necessarily reflect your capabilities or your drive. By the time you've already laid the groundwork, perhaps building a client base or saving enough to take the leap, you can present your goal with clarity and confidence, making it easier for others to support you. Of course, there are exceptions. If your goals directly involve your family, like moving away or making a career change that impacts household dynamics, sharing them may be unavoidable. In these cases, consider how to frame the conversation to emphasize your thought process and preparedness. This can help mitigate doubts and foster understanding. Ultimately, protecting your long-term goals from premature scrutiny isn't about secrecy. It's about self-preservation. It's about giving your dreams the best chance to flourish without unnecessary obstacles. By keeping certain ambitions private, you allow yourself to focus on what truly matters, your vision and your belief in your ability to achieve it. But what about something even closer to your heart? Number 2. Financial secrets. Money is often one of the most sensitive topics in any family. Whether it's a significant investment, a loan you're juggling, or financial hardships you're navigating, these details can bring about unintended consequences when shared too freely. Imagine you've just decided to invest in something you truly believe in. Maybe it's a new business venture, a promising stock, or even a home renovation. Excitedly, you share this with your family, only to be met with concern, skepticism, or unsolicited advice. Suddenly, you find yourself questioning your decisions. What if they're right? What if you've made a mistake? What started as excitement turns into self-doubt. On the flip side, revealing financial struggles can also disrupt family dynamics. Parents might start worrying excessively. Siblings might feel pressured to offer help, or worse, judgments might surface. Why didn't you plan better? Are you sure you can afford this? These aren't just questions. They can feel like veiled criticisms that add weight to an already heavy situation. Loans, in particular, can complicate relationships even further. Borrowing from family can create a sense of obligation that's difficult to shake. If you're unable to pay it back quickly, resentment can creep in, turning what was meant to be a lifeline into a source of tension. Similarly, offering to lend money to family members can blur boundaries, especially if expectations about repayment aren't clear. Then there's the issue of comparison. Sharing details about your financial success can unintentionally cause friction. Maybe a family member feels inadequate in comparison or starts asking for more than you're willing or able to give. Even casual comments like, "Must be nice to afford that," can stain, creating invisible barriers in your relationships. The truth is, money is deeply tied to emotions. Sharing financial details with family, no matter how well-intentioned, often invites opinions, feelings, and dynamics that are beyond your control. By keeping certain aspects of your financial life private, you're not being deceptive, you're preserving peace. Instead of laying everything out, consider selective sharing. For instance, if you need advice, choose one trusted family member who can offer guidance without judgment. Or if your financial situation directly impacts others, like when splitting expenses for a family event, be transparent but concise. Share only what's necessary, avoiding unnecessary details that could lead to misunderstandings. Ultimately, your financial journey is yours to navigate. Sharing too much can leave you vulnerable to unnecessary criticism or unrealistic expectations. Protecting this part of your life isn't about keeping secrets. It's about maintaining control and creating boundaries that support your well-being. And when it comes to personal relationships, the stakes can get even higher. Number 3, relationship problems. When we face challenges in our relationships, turning to family for support feels instinctive. After all, who better to lean on than those who love us unconditionally? But venting about your partner to family members, no matter how tempting, can create lasting ripples that may harm your relationship in ways you never anticipated. Here's why: when you share your frustrations about your partner with family, you're painting a picture of them in that moment, flawed, imperfect, perhaps even unkind. Family members naturally want to protect you, and those emotions can linger long after you and your partner have resolved the issue. While you may forgive and forget, your family may hold on to their initial impressions, leading to tension or judgment that strains their bond with your partner. Let's look at this example. Sarah had a heated argument with her boyfriend, Alex, over finances. In a fit of frustration, she called her sister to vent, sharing every hurtful word Alex said. Her sister, wanting to support Sarah, immediately decided that Alex was irresponsible and selfish. Days later, Sarah and Alex patched things up and were back to their usual happy dynamic. But when Sarah brought Alex to a family dinner, her sister couldn't hide her coldness toward him. Now Sarah felt stuck. How could she explain to Alex why her sister seemed distant? And how could she undo the impression she created? This is the trap many of us fall into. When we vent about our partner to family, we're only sharing one side of the story. Our side, often at the height of our emotions. While venting might feel cathartic in the moment, it can erode the long-term dynamics between your partner and your family, making future interactions uncomfortable or even contentious. Another issue is that airing relationship problems with family can make you feel cornered. Once you've opened the door to their opinions, you might face unsolicited advice or pressure to act a certain way. If they suggest ending the relationship and you choose to stay, it can create an undercurrent of disappointment or distrust. Conversely, if you do break up, their judgments might make it harder for you to reconcile later, even if both you and your partner want to. This doesn't mean you should bottle up your emotions entirely. It's important to have a support system when you're navigating relationship challenges, but be selective about who you confide in. A trusted friend, therapist, or neutral third party can provide the listening ear you need without the complications of family dynamics. If you do need to share with family, Consider framing the conversation carefully. Instead of venting about every frustration, focus on seeking constructive advice or sharing how you feel without placing blame on your partner. For example, saying, "We're working through some challenges right now, and I'd appreciate your support," sets a tone of collaboration and doesn't cast your partner in a negative light. At its core, a romantic relationship is a bond between two people built on trust and mutual respect. Introducing external opinions, especially from family, can weaken that bond. By keeping relationship struggles between you and your partner, or sharing them selectively, you are protecting the integrity of your relationship and allowing it to grow without unnecessary interference. But it's not just relationships. They say the past should stay in the past. Number 4, past mistakes. We all have things in our past we're not proud of, choices we made in moments of weakness, lapses in judgment, or circumstances we've since outgrown. While it may feel freeing to share every detail of your past with family, sometimes that level of openness does more harm than good. The truth is, your past doesn't define who you are today. It's a part of your story, yes, but it doesn't dictate your present or your future. Sharing past mistakes with family can unintentionally give them power to view you through a lens that no longer fits. While you may have moved on and grown, they might continue to associate you with those mistakes, no matter how much progress you've made. Consider this. David struggled with debt in his early 20s, juggling credit cards and loans he wasn't ready to handle. Over time, he educated himself, paid off his debts, and learned to manage his finances responsibly. Years later, during a casual family dinner, he mentioned his past struggles. What he intended as a lighthearted story of growth turned into a recurring theme in family conversations. Suddenly, anytime David brought up a new purchase or financial goal, his relatives chimed in with unsolicited reminders. "Are you sure you can afford that? Don't let yourself slip back into old habits." David's mistake had become his label, overshadowing the progress he had worked so hard to achieve. This isn't to say you should hide your past mistakes out of shame. Instead, think carefully about what you share and why. Some stories of personal growth are worth telling, but not all audiences are equipped to see the full arc of your journey. Family members, with their deep emotional ties to you, might focus on the parts of the story that worry them rather than celebrating your evolution. Moreover, certain past mistakes, especially those that don't directly impact your family, simply don't need to be shared. If you've already learned from the experience and it doesn't affect your present relationships, there's little benefit in bringing it up. Your actions and behavior today can speak louder than any confession, showing your family who you've become without revisiting who you used to be. This approach is especially important when dealing with mistakes that might challenge your family's perception of you. For example, sharing details about rebellious teenage years or a rocky romantic history might prompt judgment or concern, even if those chapters are firmly closed. Protecting these parts of your story isn't about being dishonest. It's about setting boundaries and choosing what parts of yourself you want to share. Instead of focusing on your past mistakes, focus on the lessons you've learned and how they've shaped the person you are today. If the topic comes up organically, frame it in a way that emphasizes growth rather than failure. For instance, saying, "That experience taught me a lot about resilience and planning ahead," shifts the narrative from a mistake to a meaningful life lesson. The emotional takeaway here is simple. Your past is your story to tell, and you have the right to decide how much of it to share. By protecting your narrative, you maintain control over how others perceive you and ensure that your actions today take center stage. Finally, let's address something that affects everyone: emotions. Opening up about your fears and insecurities can be a powerful way to connect with others. But when it comes to family, oversharing these emotional vulnerabilities can have unintended consequences. While they may love and support you, sharing every worry or self-doubt can shift how they see you, and not always for the better. When you lay bare all your insecurities, it can inadvertently lead to being underestimated. Family members might see your openness as a sign of fragility, doubting your ability to handle challenges or make sound decisions. "Are you sure you can manage that job? You seemed so stressed last week. Maybe you're not ready to move out if you're feeling this unsure." These comments, even if well-meaning, can feel dismissive and strip away the confidence you're trying to build. On the other hand, sharing too much can also lead to misjudgment. Everyone processes emotions differently, and what feels like a moment of vulnerability to you might be seen as a weakness by someone else. Family members might start to focus on your fears instead of your strengths, altering the way they interact with you. They might become overly protective, or even begin to make decisions on your behalf, assuming you can't handle things on your own. Then there's the risk of these vulnerabilities being brought up in future conversations or disagreements. Sharing personal fears in the moment might feel cathartic, but it also opens the door for those emotions to be used, intentionally or unintentionally, against you later. For instance, if you once confided in a family member about feeling overwhelmed at work, they might bring it up during a family discussion about your career decisions, undermining your confidence in the process. This doesn't mean you should never share your emotions with family. The key is practicing selective vulnerability. This means sharing only what's necessary and choosing your confidence wisely. Ask yourself, does sharing this emotion strengthen my bond with this person, or will it lead to unnecessary worry? Will this person provide support and encouragement, or are they likely to misjudge or overreact? By setting boundaries around your emotional disclosures, you protect both your peace of mind and your relationships. For example, instead of telling your family about every moment of doubt before a big decision, you can say, "It's a big step, but I've thought it through and I'm feeling confident overall." This approach acknowledges that you've had concerns without making them the focus of the conversation. Another strategy is to rely on non-family support systems for your most vulnerable moments. Trusted friends, mentors, or even therapists can offer a sounding board without the same emotional stakes as family. These relationships provide a safe space for you to work through your feelings without risking misjudgment or interference in other aspects of your life. When you do decide to share emotional vulnerabilities with family, it's important to frame the conversation carefully. Focus on what you're doing to address your fears and insecurities rather than simply venting about them. For example, instead of saying, "I'm scared I'll fail at this new job," you might say, "It's a challenge, but I'm learning as much as I can and taking steps to prepare." This shifts the narrative from a fear of failure to a story of growth and determination. Ultimately, boundaries around emotional vulnerability aren't about shutting people out. They're about ensuring your feelings are handled with care and respect. When you control how much you share and with whom, you retain your emotional autonomy and protect your mental well-being. So, what's the big takeaway here? At the heart of all these points lies one simple truth: not everything needs to be shared. While openness can strengthen bonds, oversharing can sometimes weaken them, leaving you misunderstood, judged, or even underestimated by those closest to you. Boundaries are not walls. They're a way to protect your peace, foster personal growth, and maintain healthier relationships. Your family may love you, but they don't need access to every corner of your life. Some things, like your long-term goals, financial struggles, relationship issues, past mistakes, and deepest insecurities, are better kept private until you're ready to share them on your own terms, if at all. This isn't about deception or secrecy. It's about taking control of your narrative and ensuring the pieces of yourself you do share are received with understanding and respect. By practicing selective vulnerability, you can avoid unnecessary conflicts, preserve your confidence, and allow yourself the freedom to grow without the weight of others' opinions. You're not closing yourself off. You're choosing what deserves space in the conversations and relationships that matter most. In the end, protecting these parts of your life allows you to live authentically while maintaining balance in your family dynamics. Boundaries don't just protect you, they also create a healthier, more respectful connection with those around you. So, take a moment to reflect. What are the parts of your life that deserve to remain yours? Let me know your thoughts in the comment. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring videos. Thanks for watching.